SCP-1097. Object Class, Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-1097 is to be fully enclosed within a reinforced, pressurized stainless steel container at all times. SCP-1097 is to be kept at a minimum of 2200 kPa. SCP-1097 is to be contained in a Type D concrete bunker, modified to include retractable seals on air vents capable of withstanding prolonged exposure to liquids with a pH level between 11.3 and 13.5. In the event of a containment breach, this bunker is to be completely sealed until further notice by the Security Director. SCP-1097 is to be contained at Site 17. The containment bunker is to be located at least 50 meters away from all other staff workspaces and SCP-designated objects. Samples of SCP-1097 are to be extracted by remote-controlled robotic equipment, and all maintenance of containment equipment is to be performed by approved laboratory robotics. No staff or test subjects are allowed to be within 10 m of SCP-1097 unless permission is granted by the Research Director. A total volume of SCP-1097 exceeding 2.5 L may not be removed from containment at any given time without authorization from the Research Director. Ttt Description. SCP-1097 is 72.3 L of a dark brown, viscous fluid composed of a mixture of water, sodium hydroxide, and liquefied human remains. In an automated, laboratory environment, SCP-1097 exhibits physical characteristics consistent with fluids composed of a similar mixture of materials. When a human approaches within approximately 5 m of any portion of SCP-1097 greater than 2.8 L, its anomalous properties manifest. SCP-1097 will first alter its shape to mimic the physical form of that person. SCP-1097 achieves this by manipulating its density so as to achieve a semi-solid state. SCP-1097 can also completely solidify portions of itself for a limited duration, to a maximum observed hardness of 152 HV30. During this process, SCP-1097 maintains its dark brown, viscous appearance, albeit in a shape analogous to the subject. The appearance of SCP-1097 in motion is similar to that of a ferromagnetic fluid being manipulated by an electromagnetic field. In addition to simulating a subject's physical form, SCP-1097 will also imitate a subject's mental characteristics and behavioral traits to the best of its ability. While SCP-1097's ability to communicate is limited, it will display physical mannerisms and attitudes similar to those previously observed in the subject. Tests using EEG monitors have shown that SCP-1097 will exhibit brain activity in the exact same manner as its subject. Current research suggests that SCP-1097 does not possess any true sapience of its own. Any actions or characteristics appearing as independent thought are merely a complex reaction catalyzed by the proximity of a sapient being. When more than one person enters SCP-1097's area of effect, its appearance and reactions become far more unpredictable. In a multiple subject scenario, SCP-1097 has been documented to assume an array of physical aspects, in some cases deviating radically from the humanoid form. SCP-1097 will also demonstrate substantial variance in behavioral patterns. SCP-1097 has been documented on some of these occasions to be hostile and extremely aggressive. When agitated, SCP-1097 will use its ability to harden itself, as well as its innate caustic properties, to attack and seriously injure staff. Experiment Log 1097. The following is a list of notable experiments involving SCP-1097. Experiment Description. Result 1097-2, D48230, a 47-year-old male with a history of good behavior while incarcerated, introduced alone into SCP-1097's area of effect. SCP-1097 assumes a physical form resembling that of D48230. Answers questions from researchers cooperatively with simple yes and no gestures, and displays knowledge of subjects, both general and personal, that D48230 is familiar with. 1097-5, D23142, a 21-year-old female with documented sociopathic behavioral tendencies, introduced alone into SCP-1097's area of effect, in a manner similar to Experiment 1097-2, SCP-1097 exhibits physical traits, mannerisms, and knowledge of D-23142. Upon researcher Upton's disengagement of the security doors leading into the testing chamber, D-23142 feigns sudden illness. When medical personnel respond, SCP-1097 attacks nearby security staff, causing a brief containment breach. Containment re-established with 2 fatalities and 4 personnel injured. D-23142 summarily terminated. 1097-9, D-29003, a 37-year-old male convicted of multiple murders, and D-31057, a 28-year-old male documented as a serial rapist, introduced into SCP-1097's area of effect. SCP-1097 manifests as a 1.8 m tall male of average build and musculature. SCP-1097's facial features resemble an amalgamation of D-31057 and D-29003, including such features as D-29003's surgically repaired cleft lip and an 8 cm scar over D-31057's right eyebrow. For the duration of the test, SCP-1097 huddles in the corner of the testing chamber, refusing to interact with researchers. 1097-11, D-10772, a 27-year-old female, and D-58271, a 42-year-old male, both with histories of nonviolent crimes, introduced simultaneously into SCP-1097's area of effect. D-10772 is fluent in American Sign Language, and instructed to attempt to communicate with SCP-1097. SCP-1097 arranges its mass to resemble an individual that D-58271 claims was his 10th grade English teacher. SCP-1097, like D-10772, demonstrates ASL fluency, and is able to communicate with test subjects and researchers. SCP-1097 challenges D-10772 to a game of chess. After 3 hours of compliance with researchers' inquiries, SCP-1097 is granted its request in exchange for its cooperation, and a chess set and board is introduced into the testing chamber by a robotic drone. SCP-1097 defeats D-10772 in 8 moves. 1097-13, D-95523, D-04189, D-09923, and D-60354, all males between the ages of 19 and 54 and selected for their records of compliance and good behavior, introduced simultaneously into SCP-1097's area of effect. SCP-1097 changes its shape into a 3.4 m tall, vaguely humanoid construct, exhibiting an additional arm protruding from the spinal region with what appears to be a simulacrum of D-04189's face in the place of a hand. SCP-1097 quickly moves to embrace D-95523 with 4 of its limbs, causing acute chemical burns over most of D-95523's body. After approximately 2 minutes, D-95523 loses consciousness. SCP-1097 decreases in height by 1.2 m, and assumes the appearance of a normal human male. SCP-1097 is docile and cooperative for the duration of the experiment. D-95523 dies of his injuries 3 days later.